About good to go. Is everyone all set? Yes. This is going to be conversational in here. So is everyone all set? Yeah? Okay. Wonderful. Great. Well, so good afternoon, and thank you all for being here. We very, very much appreciate your time. We have about 2 hours that we're going to spend together, hopefully having a conversation. And so throughout the session, we're hoping to be very interactive. We're hoping to have audience Q&A and really have a conversation around workforce, nuclear workforce specifically, of course, here in Romania. And so we have a diverse group of perspectives that we're bringing to the table today. We have leaders in government, in policy, in academia, in industry, in global collaborators who bring a diverse set of perspectives for us to lean upon, learn from, and figure out, hopefully, some very actionable things that we can walk out of here and move forward. And so I'm going to be our moderator today. My name is Neva Espinoza. I came in from the United States, and I am with EPRI, the Electric Power Research Institute, which is a nonprofit organization that does global R&D around the electric sector and certainly a ton around the nuclear sector. And so I'm really excited to be here today for this program. And the title of this program, as you know, is From Classroom to Control Room. And I'll tell you, it's one that's near and dear to my heart because it's my story. And so when I graduated from college, I went directly into the nuclear industry. I had the opportunity to go through the U.S. Navy nuclear program and get training and workforce development through that program. And then from there, I went to the commercial side and had a senior reactor operator's license and worked in a control room for several years. And so, you know, when I was reflecting on the time we're going to spend today, I thought a little bit about where I started my career 25 or so years ago and thought, I wonder who was in the room planning what that looked like for me in the future. And so as we spend the next 2 hours here thinking about the next person like me who's going to come out of school and maybe go into a control room or go into the nuclear workforce, some of the conversations that happen today and hopefully some of the outcomes that happen today and we start moving forward towards will shape the people who are going to be standing up here in 25 years and talking about what happens next. And I think that's really something we should be thinking about in the long run on how we are going to impact that very next generation. So something I'm very, very, very passionate about, and I'm sure many of you are too. And so the excitement here at EnergyFEST, you could feel the momentum from the session this morning, from the excitement in the exhibition hall of all the different people really leaning in and learning about what's going on in the nuclear energy industry here in Romania, between life extension, between new builds, small modular reactors. I mean, it really is an amazing thing to watch and be part of, and we feel really fortunate to be here. Obviously, we heard a little bit from leaders across Romania this morning around the importance of nuclear in terms of critical infrastructure, energy security, meeting longer-term decarbonization goals, and really becoming regional leaders across Europe in this space. And that's a lot of what we're going to get to the discussion today. But the bottom line to all of that, I heard multiple people say the concept of people are the critical enabler. We can't do it without the people. We can't do it without the workforce. And that's really what we're here to talk about. And so as we get into this, a few rules of the road. So we're going to have rules. Yes? Are we okay with this? And expectations. With rules come expectations. Expectations on you, expectations on me. So the first is, this is very much going to be a working conversation. And so we're going to start off with some panelists who will come up to the podium here. They'll give some perspective of what they see going on in the industry globally, here in Romania, and give some perspective on that. So we'll go through those opening remarks. I do ask we keep them relatively short. We have 2 hours, but it's going to go quick because we all got a lot to say. My job is going to be to manage time, and so I may gently prod us along as we go through, and I think we're all going to be okay with that, yeah? Okay, wonderful. This is going to be kind of a special 2 hours because we're really going to hear from lots of folks. And at the end of the day, I'm going to ask a question, and I need all of you to answer it with one sentence or so. And those of you who may not be up here at the podium, I want you to answer it. I want you to write something down too. And that question, like spoiler alert, I'm going to tell you now, so you're not surprised. The question is going to be, if we walk out of here today and we come in 1 year from now, we're back in this room, and we're talking about something that happened in this room that made us successful, and we came back here to report out on it, something like an actual outcome that happened, what would that be? If we walked out of here as a collective and took one action, what would that action be that we talk about this time next year? That's coming. Not yet. Okay. So with that, I'll stop talking. We'll get to our keynote speakers because I know we're really excited to hear from all of you. We'll start with Professor Curlison. And, thank you so much for hosting here. We're excited to be here, and we're excited to see your leadership. And I'll turn it over to you to give us some opening comments.
It's a secret passage. It's a tunneling effect, like we used to teach this for our students on the quantum physics. Good day, everybody. I'm very happy to see all of you here. It's my pleasure and my honor to bring you the warm welcome from the Politehnica University and to excuse in the same time my rector that was ready to participate to this event, but unfortunately he was not able to do it today. To come to a much more optimistic view, I'm very happy that we succeeded to bring together in the same conference room a lot of individual experts from different perspectives, experts in what means producing nuclear energy, managing the production of nuclear energy, distributing the nuclear energy, securing the safety of nuclear power plants, and nevertheless, people that are strictly, directly related with our ongoing nuclear projects. Let's take the maximum profit of the time we have all of them here. And let's be ready to listen, on one hand, some presentations, but more than that, let's be ready to have an open and interactive discussion on the way in which you imagine the pathway of a young student from our classrooms directly to the control room of the nuclear reactor. Discussion itself is based on some iterative model, because from classroom, you are not all the time in the classrooms, I know that. You are in laboratories, you are on different projects involved, you are in internships, having already contact with nuclear world. And in the same time, the destination, the control room, is not always the control room. There are so many positions in a nuclear power plant about which I'm pretty sure Mrs. Loredana Măcăneață, the Human Research Director of Nuclear Electrica, is ready to tell us about. So your future is in her hands. And we are happy to have here today a young but very promising fellow from Ministry of Energy, Mr. Dan Duțu, that will offer you the perspective of the strategic development of this sector in Romania. Nevertheless, we have the representative of Department of State of United States of America, Mrs. Christine Prince, who will bring us the ideas and a message that contain the strategic view of United States in what concerns the development of nuclear reactors in Romania. We have Mrs. Heather Feldman that is representing EPRI, but EPRI is more than you imagine. It's a kind of pool of knowledge, collecting and working for nuclear human research development all around the world. And the last but not least is Mr. Pedro Diego Esporas from International Atomic Energy Agency, coming from Vienna, to give us a glimpse of what means Romania from the perspective of International Atomic Energy Agency. As a consequence of the first exploratory mission that was hosted by us, by Polytechnica, last November, on a very directly related theme of human resource development for nuclear. In the same time, we have in the auditorium, and they will be strongly involved in the discussions, representative of Nuclear Energy Agency of OECD from Paris, Mrs. Tatiana Ivanova, welcome. We have Jerry Hopwood that represents UNINI, a Canadian network of universities, a sister network of our network, National Alliance of Universities for Nuclear Energy. And Mr. Prunake from NewScale. NewScale, you know, NewScale is the enterprise that will install the reactors in Doicești, and the Romanian representative in NewScale is Mr. Prunake. We have a research institute, Research Institute for Nuclear Energy, represented by my good friend Minodora, and we have the national regulator Cenecan, represented at the very top level by Mr. President, Mr. Ciurea. And surprisingly, we have the representative of what will be the new story of CANDU in Romania, because we have an old story of CANDU in Romania. The old story is already evident with the units number 1 and 2, but for the units number 3 and 4, Atkins Realis, the enterprise that succeed of CANDU Energy, is represented also by Mrs. Michaela Ovanes from Canada. I hope I didn't forget anything, but I have to mention that together with us this day are the representatives of the 14 universities that decided one year and a half to found the National University Alliance for Nuclear Energy, 14 universities, all of them of good reputation and of deep involvement in preparing and delivering human resource for nuclear energy domain in Romania. We have Babes-Bolyai, we have University of Bucharest, we have Polytechnica from Cluj, Polytechnica from Timișoara, Cuza, Alexandru Ioan Cuza from Iași, we have Petroșani, we have Craiova, we have Târgoviște, we have 2 universities from Constanța, Ovidius and Maritime University. We have University of Medicine and Pharmacy. We have also as member Polis Academy. So it's quite a diverse palette of universities working together for this purpose. In the name of all the persons I mentioned, I want to congratulate you that for the fact that you are still keeping alive and working for this very interesting, very challenging domain, and never lose hope. There is a future for nuclear energy in Romania. I'm pretty sure about this. A future that is very well established on a strong background that started maybe some 70 years ago. I wish success to all of you, and from this moment onward, I will pass the floor to our nice moderator, and she will be the one inviting our guests to speak. Thank you very much.
That's mine. You can have it if you'd like. Okay, thank you, Dimitri. That was much too pink. It's orange. It's actually orange. That's right. There you go. Well, thank you so much. We appreciate those opening comments. And so next up, we're going to invite up Dan Dutso from the Ministry of Energy to give us some perspective on what you guys are seeing.
Hello, everyone. Thank you very much for having me today. Sorry for being late. Your campus is very big, and somehow when you're in rush, it got even bigger. So I'm not Secretary of State, Mr. Bușoi. I'm not even my direct boss, Mr. Director General Sorin LSA, but somehow I will speak for both of them today. So it is a great honor for me to be here and to be able to speak on behalf of the Ministry of Energy. There is no doubt that well-educated, well-trained, and qualified personnel is a priority for the safe implementation of all nuclear-related activities. Being in the Polytechnic, I don't need to present you the nuclear project that Romania is developing, because you are basically gonna be part of this yourself. But I will say that all stakeholders involved in the workforce development, I mean from EU level, from national decision makers, operators, regulatory authorities, education and research, academia, all should work in coordinated manner. It is therefore of strategic importance to maintain and further develop a high level of nuclear expertise and competence within the EU. To achieve the goal, the nuclear field must become as current as possible to create opportunities for future generations, such yourself. I strongly believe that timely efforts to accelerate nuclear innovation are necessary. When talking about SMRs and different technologies, I want to underline the importance of cooperation and sharing information in order to accelerate the licensing process and the timely implementation. Also, in order to support all the strategic nuclear projects that are planned for the next decades, Romania is engaged in maintaining and further developing the necessary nuclear skills and expertise to guarantee energy security, support energy transition, and develop the attractiveness of the national nuclear industry. Going forward, nuclear needs to be placed in the center of our political and strategic discussion about security of supply and decarbonization, and the international community can play an important role in leading the way. As Professor Chileșan presented, there are various stakeholders present here today, which is very important for this topic. So this is my introduction to you. I'm hoping for a very fruitful discussion, and thank you.
Thank you, Dan. I think that this concept of cooperation is going to be a big theme, obviously, that comes out today. We've already heard it several times. And so next I'll invite up Ms. Loredana Macanitza. Yeah, we're going to go with that. Dimitri may kill me. He looked unhappy. Please join us and give us some perspective.
Thank you. Looking at the agenda, I'm speaking on behalf of our CEO, Mr. Ghiță, but also in my own name, because it's about human resources, the field I am in. Sitting here, I was struck a little bit about how beautiful the name of this conference is. I don't know if you, Mr. Chileșan, came with it. It's wonderful. It's wonderful because I think it captures the challenges, the personal stories of some of you. It's a strategic view, it's a personal view, what we have to do in order to have people in the control room, how from a student perspective can I get from there to there? What we, the industry, the employers, have to do to have enough classrooms, to get people from the classrooms ready in our control rooms or all the other areas. It is certainly a challenge. As we all know, Romania entered in a very important phase of its nuclear program. With our project in Nuclear Electrica, the refurbishment of Unit 1, the new 3 and 4 units, the SMRs, also the projects which are going beyond the energy generation, and I'm talking about tritium removal facility, I'm talking about medical isotopes. There are a lot of projects we are starting, and all of these projects will overlap in the next decade, even less than this. So in order to have people from classroom to our control room, we need a strong focus on developing these people. It is the most important thing, I think, that we are facing now. Of course, technology, of course, financing this technology is critical, but more critical than this is to have people ready for this. Doing a very simple math, considering how long it takes to have somebody qualified to operate in all these projects, to design them, to build them, and to operate in them. It shows that we had to start this approach probably 7 years ago. And I might say that we in Nuclear Electrica did it. Probably not enough, but I think that we succeeded to do a lot of steps until now. It's a lot to do in the next years. It's a lot to do now. I hope that we all here together, because you are a very elitist, I might say, audience, and with all our expertise put together, I hope that we will go from here with very interesting and helpful ideas in order to move further. It's an honor for me to be here and join you in this discussion. And for the students, we are waiting for you in our control room. Thank you.
We should have started 7 years ago, but I don't think we're 7 years behind, maybe. And so, because we've done a lot of things that will absolutely need to be accelerated coming up here. And I think that's certainly part of the conversation today on how we do that. Okay, up next, we have Ms. Christine Price coming from the U.S. Embassy.
Good afternoon, everyone. Let me begin by extending a warm thank you to all the speakers and participants. Let's see, I'm a little short, sorry. The embassy really values an opportunity to engage with Romania's nuclear community, and it's really encouraging to see so many faces from government, industry, academia, research institutions, training programs, and international organizations gathered here today. As we look at the global energy landscape, the United States is focused on ensuring a resilient, secure, and reliable energy supply. Our advanced computing infrastructure, our AI capabilities, our national laboratories, and our critical security installations all depend on high-density, interruption-proof power sources. Nuclear energy is an important part of this equation. This is why President Trump issued an executive order last May on deploying advanced nuclear reactor technologies for national security. Our goal is to ensure the rapid development, deployment, and use of advanced nuclear technologies and to enable private sector investment, innovation, and development. Our commitment does not stop at home. The United States is committed to supporting the national security objectives of friends and allies using innovative nuclear technologies that draw on 70 years of U.S. global leadership in nuclear safety and security. We have already seen the results of this cooperation. Energy is a core part of the U.S.-Romania strategic partnership. U.S. companies and financial institutions are supporting Romania's strategic energy projects, including the rebuild of the Cernavodă reactors and the development of the Doicești SMR project using cutting-edge U.S. technology. Expansion of the nuclear sector will require a skilled and educated workforce. Earlier this week, our Bureau of Arms Control and Nonproliferation, together with EPRI, hosted a workshop to support Romania's ongoing efforts for nuclear workforce strategy. We thank you all for your continued engagement and commitments with this program. My colleagues in Washington who could not join us today asked me to convey their warm regards and say a few words about the foundational infrastructure for the responsible use of small modular reactor technology, or FIRST, which is easier to say, program which supports these events. FIRST is a flagship program that harnesses the longstanding expertise of the U.S. nuclear sector. It empowers international partners to make responsible SMR deployment decisions in a manner that prioritizes the highest safety, security, and nonproliferation standards. FIRST draws on experts from across the U.S. nuclear sector, including industry, national laboratories, top-tier academic and research institutions, civil society, local governments, and national U.S. government agencies. Romania is well positioned to be an active contributor to European and global nuclear workforce initiatives. Our success will require new engineers, technicians, operators, researchers, regulators, educators, and support staff, as well as specialists in emerging areas such as digitalization, cybersecurity, advanced manufacturing, and nuclear safety culture. Building on American innovation in nuclear energy, our work together can help further the success to the benefit of both our countries. Today's roundtable marks another step towards shaping a strategic and forward-looking platform for Romania's future nuclear workforce, and we stand ready to continue supporting these developments. I look forward to the discussion, and thank you for being here.
Thank you, Christine. And again, we hear the importance of collaboration, cooperation, and of course, not just being here in Romania, but globally. And that's kind of a perfect segue to invite Pedro up to share with us some of his perspective from the IAEA.
Thank you very much. From the International Atomic Energy Agency, it's a pleasure and an honor to be here with you today. We are always ready to support member states. Romania in particular has been operating reactors successfully. Since we are in a house of engineering, the Polytechnic of Bucharest, I would like to share data from the Power Reactor Information Database, the PRIS database of the IAEA. If we check the lifetime unit capacity factor of the reactors in the world, number one is Romania with 92%. Congratulations. This is an achievement based on a highly skilled workforce. And today, the reason behind this meeting is the expanding nuclear power program of Romania. And there will be new knowledge with new reactors coming to the country, where needs to be in the future minds of the young people studying here or that will join the educational programs. In the last days, hosted by Politehnica Bucharest, Romania, and our colleagues from EPRI, from the US, we have a workshop discussing how to develop the national roadmap, the national program for developing this workforce. When we travel around the world and we discuss with member states, I always ask, what are the expected dates for operation of these new reactors? And when there is a date, I realize that suddenly we have to start talking about urgency, strategy, priorities, collaboration, and sometimes a sense of urgency. So more than challenges, let's talk about the opportunities. There will be new nuclear knowledge coming to the country. That's why you have international partners. You have vendor support, international organizations here with you supporting and working together. And I think it's a matter of continuing the success, building on the blocks that you already have, and developing and looking forward with ambition and with a strong sense of collaboration, nationally and internationally. So I was very pleased to see how all the different bodies and entities, educational, governmental, regulation, were involved in this discussion and are represented here today. So in November, we had the Integrated Nuclear Education Advisory Services. This is a mission of the IEA devoted to nuclear education, and it was implemented at national level, hosted by Universitatea Politehnica Bucharest and all the other universities in the country. Among the main topics that were discussed was the national collaboration needed to organize and streamline the new programs, how this new knowledge will be integrated, upgrading the existing tools, resources, programs in the country, and how to attract this young generation that are the talented minds that we want, are attracted to so many industries, and this particular industry, being strategic, being technologically advanced, with a bright future in front of us, is one of the key industries for the country and for the world, to have a decarbonized production of electricity and also some other considerations regarding safety, security of production of power. So with this, I would like to thank the host for these discussions. I'm sure that the future of the workforce of Romania will be built from the universities here, supported by all the institutions, and I can only praise Romania. Let me finish with a personal note. My wife is Romanian, so that's how much I love the culture. Thank you.
Thank you, Pedro. And what was that statistic capacity factor? Was that what it was, 92%? I think that deserves another round of applause because that is amazing. And that's tied to workforce, but that's not just tied to the operating workforce, right? It certainly is capacity factor, but that is tied to initial construction, the quality of that built, the quality of that project. It is tied to the technicians and the trades that help maintain those units. And of course, the operations teams and the engineers and the workforce all built around it, not just day to day when it's operating, but every single time you shut it down to maintain it. All of those things lead to that 92% capacity factor. So the importance of workforce absolutely shines through in those numbers. And so, Heather, we're gonna bring you up, last speaker here, and before we get into more of an open discussion, to talk to us a little bit about the first project and what you guys have been up to.
Wonderful. Thank you. And it is truly an honor to be here today. I have enjoyed this week being in Romania, working together with many of you in this room, collaborating on this first project. I wanted to take a second and just start with a story, as Neva did, about how she wound up in the nuclear industry. So I'm a mechanical engineer. And when I was working on my PhD, I wanted to do research with industry. And a fuel supplier had a project with one of the professors at my university. So I ended up getting into mechanical engineering type of research for fuels, and that led me to work on the space shuttle program and then switch back over to nuclear because I was very interested in the nuclear energy as well as energy because it's so fundamental to society. So EPRI, as has been mentioned by a few of my colleagues here, is implementing a first project that is titled National Roadmap for the Development of a Capable Nuclear Workforce. It's a partnership between many of the stakeholders that are here. It's a partnership between governments, academic institutions, nuclear power operators, regulators, original equipment manufacturers, vendors, as well as nuclear industry organizations. We are focused on nuclear workforce development in Central and Eastern and Eurasian countries. The project will design, develop, and deliver a whole industry roadmap, including recommendations on how the participating countries can address nuclear energy training and workforce development needs for the future. The project is, as I mentioned, considering this whole industry workforce. So we're looking at it through the lens of the nuclear value chain. We're looking at the front end of the fuel cycle. We're looking at maintenance and operations of the nuclear plant. We're looking at construction. We're looking at the back end of the fuel cycle, the waste management, the decommissioning. And this also includes views from the different stakeholders. So it's looking at it from the perspective of a utility organization. It's looking at it from the perspective of university professors, the regulatory body, the government, the SMR developers, research organizations, and so on. So as part of this project here in Romania, we formed a core working group made up of the representatives of the organizations that I just mentioned. And this core working group participated in a workshop the last 2 days. We had breakout sessions focused on different elements of the roadmap. We had really good discussions, hard discussions, but good discussions about what needs to go into the roadmap. And the workshop was structured around 4 key areas in the roadmap. First, it's structured on demand. What does nuclear energy look like today in Romania? What does it look like in the future? What is the demand for people going to be in order to support the amazing projects that you have going on here? Then we look at the supply. How are we going to get the people, which are the heart of all of these projects, into the workforce to operate the plants, to do research, to do all these amazing tasks? So those are the first 2 parts. Now we understand demand and supply. We have to go, oh goodness, do we have any gaps? There might be a scenario where we say we need 100 engineers. But training and education can only supply us 10. So what is the action that's needed to get enough engineers so that we can meet the demand? And then the last part is, gosh, we're going to have a lot of gaps. How do we prioritize them? And what are the risks if we can't fill the gap in the time frame that we need the gap filled? So those are the 4 elements of the roadmap. A big part of the roadmap is the collaboration piece. So we've talked about the need for a coordinating body to really bring this roadmap to life, to take it to that next level, which is more of an action plan. Think of that like a project plan where you've got a specific task with a specific due date, with a specific owner. And that's really what's going to make it all happen to meet the requirements that are laid out in this roadmap. So we're working, as I mentioned earlier, in Central Eastern Europe as well as Eurasia. So we have a roadmap that we're creating here with Romania. We are doing something very similar in Slovakia, and we're doing something very similar in a soon-to-be-announced country. So we'll have 3 roadmaps, and then we will also take a look at the region. So we'll look at the roadmaps, the concepts in the roadmap at a regional level. And this is a project that got started with Romania in about September of 2025, last year. And this will go through 2027. So this is a long-term investment. This is something we're collaborating with Romania on and the other countries, and we're really excited about it and really looking forward to it. And as I stand before all the students here, I see all of you in part of this roadmap as we're creating this roadmap. And really excited about it and just really looking forward to the value that we can bring to Romania. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you, Heather. And thank you to all of our speakers. I think that perspective really helped set our stage on some of the things we're going to talk about. And, you know, Heather said the 4 work streams, I think you said, were demand, supply, gaps, and then risks. And so I'm sure we're going to get a lot into risks and some of those gaps here and opportunities of things to move forward. But I think where we're going to start is hearing a little bit from exactly what you said, the students. And so we have, we're really excited to say today we have one of those students here with us, prepared to give some of her comments and her thoughts on why she's getting into the nuclear field, what will keep her here, and some of her perspective to really help us think about this is what we're here for. We're here for the future. We're here for the people in the future, and let's hear from some of those people. And so, Florentina, why don't you come up and join us and share a little bit about what you're thinking?
Hello everyone, I am really happy to be here with you. When people ask me why I choose nuclear energy, the honest answer is very simple, because I grew up around it. My father has worked in this domain for many years, so I saw at him a responsibility and a long-term commitment, and had a strong impact on me. Later, I chose it for his complexity and the fact that details truly matter. I have entered in the system to a scholarship program. So I moved directly into a position without applying to a specific department. So very early on, I understood how everything is interconnected. Like engineering doesn't work alone, it works together with operations, with safety, with regulations. Understanding these connections takes time. Looking back, what would have helped me from day one is to have a clear overview of the whole system in integrated manner. Not just my job, but how my job fits into the bigger picture. One way to improve this could be during practice, university summer practice or internships. Structures rotation between departments together with mentorship from industry and also technical visits on sites would help students to understand the system before they being hired. If we train people before they being hired, we will help them from day one to understand the job and avoid leaving after a short period of time. What will make me stay is continued technical growth, responsibility, and the connections around the world in the nuclear industry. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you, Florentina. I think that helps kind of tee up our first question. Right, I think we will take what Florentina said and move forward from there. So some of her perspective she shared was having a clear view of the whole system from the beginning, structural rotations, having more kind of hands-on experience maybe, and different ways from day one being ready. And so I'm going to open it to our panel here. I'm not going to necessarily call each of you. I will at some point, I promise. But I'd love to hear any initial perspective that some of our panelists up here and those of you who are sitting out here in this front row, if you have any initial thoughts or responses to some of what Florentina said. And? Okay, you guys are doing fantastic so far as panelists. That's great. Go ahead, Heather. Yeah.
Maybe. So I think I heard a comment about hands-on experience, right? So for me as a student, that was so important. I loved going to labs and like being in that environment and just being able to turn a button and see what happens. I'm a very visual person. So another, as a graduate student story, but as a graduate student, I taught our instrumentation and control lab. And even in that environment as a teacher, I was learning so much as I was teaching the students, and like gaining that additional knowledge I've brought forward and carried forward. So kind of a message around like learning doesn't end. We're constantly learning, and being in that role of a teacher or something like kind of adds to it.
That's great. Thanks, Heather. Well, and so let's pull that string a little further, thinking about future skills and what the workforce needs. And so maybe you can give us some perspective here on starting from day one, right? When students come in day one, we may hear graduates are super smart, but maybe they're not fully ready on the first day to take on that role. And so what are some things that you see as maybe gaps that can be addressed?
Well, definitely, theoretical knowledge is not a problem. Even maybe sometimes students are not coming with the exact knowledge about our type of pumps, let's say. These are things that can be learned quickly. I think the most important gaps that we as employers have to take care and to fill are related about systems thinking, I would say, because students are, okay, specialized in mechanics, in electrical field, but they are not used to think in systems. And in nuclear systems are definitely very, very important. The second gap should be maybe the field familiarity with the industrial equipment, because not all of them have the chance to see the equipment. A practical understanding of the nuclear safety culture, which is definitely very unique.
Yes.
And maybe some experience in documentation, which might be gained in school. I think that all of these gaps can be easily filled, though, if we engage in apprenticeships, internship programs, summer schools. These are things that can be easily addressed.
Yeah.
Yes.
Fantastic, wonderful. So theoretical, not a problem, field familiarity, practical understanding, nuclear safety culture, documentation, right? The technical rigor that has to go in the nuclear process, critically important. You know, I'd love to hear maybe from our regulator from CNCAN, and then we'll come here to you next, if you're willing to give us some perspective on this. Please come up. We'd love to have you.
Thank you and good afternoon, everybody. I'm Cante Mircea from Romanian Nuclear Regulator. And as the industry needs workforce to be able to develop the nuclear power program in Romania, we also need new colleagues in our organization in order to be able to properly implement the licensing processes of this nuclear installation going to be built in Romania. Definitely, there is a difference between the knowledge that we need to have in order to properly license this installation and ensure safe operation in the future, and the knowledge that the student gains during the faculty. But this is not a real issue. What we need good engineers which are willing to learn in order to improve their professional abilities to work in the nuclear regulatory authority. The main gaps actually are coming from the training needs assessment that we have to do once a new colleagues will come in our organization. If that new colleague is coming from power engineering faculty, the gaps are lower. They have good knowledge about most of the systems that the nuclear power plant possesses. And the additional knowledge that they need to gain is how you are going to work in our specific organization, aspects related to the nuclear safety, as it was mentioned, the need to understand how to do an integrated assessment of the organization, to understand safety culture, as it was mentioned, emergency preparedness and response, and the need that we have to address when it comes to radiation protection of environment and the public. However, I don't see a problem. I encourage all the students to apply for a job in a Romanian regulatory authority in the future. The only condition is the willingness for you to learn and to improve your professional skills, and we will guarantee you that your effort will be full of reward after many years of working in our organization. So I don't want to discourage you. Please apply, and we will implement a proper training program for all of you in order to be good regulators and to ensure, safe operation of nuclear installations in Romania. In addition to that, I would like to mention that we implement a training program which is in line with the international training programs. We are not doing just town-house. We have international cooperation programs with the IAEA and with NIA and other international organizations which are actually our partners in improving the human resources in the nuclear field. Therefore, it is important, as I mentioned, for you to understand, and I'd like you to understand better, that the work in the nuclear authority is the one that will provide you the best of the satisfaction, and I want you all to apply for a job in our organization. Thank you. What question?
I have a question, if I'm allowed.
You are not allowed.
Okay.
Them are allowed. Oh, please, I was joking.
No more questions. Looking to my students, I wonder myself if, from your perspective, as a potential employer, are my students ready to be employed tomorrow?
If they graduated. So if they are good students, they are ready.
Okay, let's accept the idea that they graduate this summer with very good grades,
Yes.
giving the best on the final exam, and in the next month they will be ready to be employed. Do they have, in your opinion, do they have the minimal set of knowledge, skill, competencies in order to enter and to take the job? And the same question I want to address to Mr. Chirica, the representative of Romatom, Romanian industry in the nuclear domain, but later on a little bit. Thank you.
Okay. If they have good grades during the faculties, they have the minimum skills to be employed in our organization. It doesn't mean that they are fully capable to do our job, and we do not request them to be fully capable to do. What we need from them is to be good engineers at the end of the faculties, and we will take care of their further training and qualification to be good regulators in Romania. How long? they will need minimum 2 years to work with us. Okay, not in isolation. We will apply a system of systematic approach to training, mentoring, on-the-job training. After 2 years, they will be able to produce good review reports that could be used by their bosses to take decisions. And after 4 years, I think they will reach the maturity to be able to produce themselves good safety reports in order to properly fundament the regulatory decision. But the learning is a continuous process because the world is evolving, so learning is a continuous process. There is no time to get bored. So if you like to learn continuously, to improve your knowledge, this is the place you have to work. It's not a curse, you are doing it every day. It's a matter of habit. But as I mentioned, you will be rewarded. You will get a lot of satisfaction from a job in a regulatory authority. Of course. Should I go back?
I don't have a question.
For me?
No. No, I don't have a question. I just want to say that, you know, positive note. This is the best time to work in nuclear, actually. Both internal, so both in Romania and whatever you like, actually. Because you have US, you have all the projects in Europe. We have, at the level of the European Commission, there's continuous support for nuclear energy. We're talking about funding, we're talking about new innovative projects. Nuclear Electrica, as some of you may know, will produce radioisotopes at Chernobyl. So lots of interesting alternative fields for nuclear. Also, on the national level, we are upgrading our strategies for development in nuclear sector. We have a new strategy for energy. We are working actively with Polytechnica and with other institutions to build on the momentum and to try to establish the basis for a stronger work for the next years. Because we are not talking about needs, especially in the very short term. Because it takes, like Mr. Candidature said, it takes a lot of time to be proficient in this job and to learn all the skills. So working 2-4 years in an institution may sound like a lot right now, but in fact it isn't, because it's a very complex job. But you have lots of opportunities right now, both at the national level and I hope you. Okay. A magic touch. Okay. So I'm not going to repeat, but I'm just wanted to encourage you to apply for a job in nuclear if this is something you would like to pursue. Like I said, there's no better time for this than today. Sounds very poetic, but actually it's true because the support for nuclear energy at international level is at a historical high, I think. Thank you.
Okay, wonderful. So, am I still on? Yeah, I'm still on. Yeah? You guys hear me? Yeah, you have your right hand up? Please, join us.
Well, as President Chura mentioned, once you graduate, guys, you enter a training program. So you enter a training program once you graduate. The title of this conference today is From Classroom to Control Room. If you want to become a senior reactor operator. I don't want to scare you, but it will take about 10 years, plus or minus, from your graduation. You will have to go through a lot of training. You will have to have hands-on experience, and then training again. You go to the nuclear regulator. You have to pass an exam and then work again in the power plant. And then again training, and the last tests with the nuclear regulator. It's a long way to Tipperary, but it's rewarding. So that was my message. You need a lot of to put in a lot of effort, but the satisfaction that you get at the end of this long period of time is difficult to put in words. So be prepared.
Great, thank you. That's great perspective. I appreciate it. And I mean, I think we clearly heard here that Professor Killerson is ready for you to all get out, and these people want to hire you. And so I think that's really positive. You have a lot to look forward to. Okay, so.
Are we allowed to listen the input from Romatom, the industry?
Yes, let's do it.
How they consider my students?
Let's do it.
Because together with Nuclear Electrica, they are Mr. Chirica represents the rest of the major part of the Romanian industry in nuclear that is spread all around the country. And we need to know exactly, are we doing a good job in Polytechnica or not?
May I answer?
Yes, please.
So it is proved by myself, because I work in the nuclear industry all my life. And so that not me, it was a generation. It was in fact the first generation of nuclear engineers. Of course, at that time, it was not a nuclear energy section in the Polytechnica. It was just a thermo-energetical. So practically, that is the school at that time, and I remember I have in my mind the professors. Unfortunately, majority of them, they are not with us. So that I'm sure that there is a potential. Still, there is a potential in Romania. Is us working more than 40 years in nuclear electrica, and from different positions, from junior to chairman of the board and the CEO of the company, practically I noticed that there is an interest in the nuclear industry. I had the opportunity to cooperate with the people from the site. They are fantastic guys. And also is the person in the design engineering. In fact, I started with design engineering. After that, I moved to the nuclear electrica company. So that is, I'm very optimistic about the capability of the Romanian young generation, and all the best for you. So. So? Okay, no, that is, do not give to, this is a false perspective. But it's not impossible to
Just a short comment, because I cannot refrain myself. I think here is the major gap between we, academics, we, the training providers on one hand, and the industry on the other hand. This is the gap we have to fill, to try to find the common denominator of our work in academic that can be immediately transferred in your needs, in your human resources needs in industry. So if we the persons that are involved in the decision making, in creating the framework and the institutional building, if we understand this gap that should be filled in this way, I think we will have a good progress in the next year. Thank you very much.
Fully agree.
Great, thank you. Well, so Jerry, I know you had some stuff you wanted to share, so why don't you come on up and then share some of that?
Thank you, Neva. And I'm Jerry Hopwood, so I'm here from Canada. I'm the president of UNINI, as Dimitri said, the University Network of Excellence in Nuclear Engineering. We're a sister organization to the ANUN network here. And so I have a lot in common. I've been in Romania many times over my years for the Cernavoda 1 and Cernavoda 2 projects. So it's a pleasure to be back. I should also mention that I have another job as well. I'm a part-time commissioner with the Canadian Nuclear Safety Commission, so I can also think about the work that the commission staff do so that I can make a decision on licensing technologies and construction projects. But I want to tell you a story. So to answer your question, I think we're talking about the wrong thing. We keep talking about capable or not capable. It's not yes or no, it's a spectrum. When I started work in the nuclear industry, I was in the UK. And I was a young fellow, just came out of university with a physics degree, applied physics, not even an engineer. And I was hired as some young fellow walked into the office with a bunch of people older than me. And after 3 days, they were having a meeting and talked about this problem. And I looked at that and I said, I had an idea. I said, is that something that would help the problem? And they kind of looked at me in great surprise and they said, well, a young lad has a good idea there. I said, wow, look at this young fella. And I realized after 3 days that this was the industry for me. I realized right away that I could contribute, not necessarily a whole lot on day one, but I could contribute from day one. So don't let anybody think that if you get hired into the nuclear industry on day one, you have no value. The engineers and scientists who join the nuclear industry have value from day one. They're not fully capable, and I wasn't fully capable, but you can contribute. And the gap between academia and industry needs to be filled by saying, academia doesn't stop on day one. Industry doesn't start on day one. The training program goes from university level through internships, through workshops, through visiting power plants, through all the things that can be done during your university career to prepare yourself. And then training continues after day one. Industry doesn't have a free ride to say, oh, well, you've arrived, I don't have to train you anymore. Of course, training goes on all the way through from day one. So that was one point I wanted to make. The other point was on experiential learning. You mentioned a very important thing, which was systems thinking. And it's hard to teach that, but it's easy to learn it. The way you learn it is at a power plant project or an operating power plant. I learned it at the sister plant for Cernavoda 1. I learned it at the Point Lepreau plant in New Brunswick as still a young engineer, commissioning the power plant, first few years of startup and operation. And I discovered that I could walk from the top of the reactor building to the basement and back and learn my way through every system on the plant just by seeing it, by understanding it, by asking the maintainers and the operators what was going on. Same with the turbine building. Walk from the top to the bottom. It's a long way. You get very tired doing that. But that is a way to learn systems thinking. So what I would encourage our industry members here is training should be an integral part of your projects, your construction projects. The best time to look at a nuclear power plant is before it starts up. That's the time you can walk from top to bottom, from east to west, from north to south, and see everything and learn the systems fully. So I encourage our industry members and our academia members to think about how to build that experience into the training program. So that's just some thoughts. I always have more, but I'll stop there for now.
No, that's wonderful. Thank you, Jerry. Oh. Want me to go there? So, I have all these people raising their hands. We're going to get to everybody. So, no, I think that was perfect systems thinking. And so we spent a lot of time talking about engineering, right? Who loves an engineer? Someone raise your hand. Come on, raise your hands. You guys, raise your hands. It's you guys. Raise your hands. Okay, everyone who has a hand up, think of a question because I'm going to call on you later because we're going to go to Q&A very soon. But before we go to Q&A, we all love engineers here. A lot of us are engineers here. But the fact is, the nuclear industry does not just operate from engineers. It needs a whole spectrum of different skill sets, technicians, vocational schools, trade schools, all super important to the nuclear industry continuing to grow in Romania. So, Sela, why don't you join us up here and give some of your perspective on what you're seeing?
So, good afternoon. I'm very honored to be here with you. My name is Sheila Denis Niazi, and I'm the director of Axiopolis Technical High School in Cernavoda. Our school prepares students for technical careers in industry and energy, and many of them are interested in fields connected to Romania's nuclear sector. From the perspective of vocational education, we see a very important opportunity today to build a strong bridge between education and the nuclear industry. As Romania moves forward with life extension projects, new nuclear capacity and small modular reactors, developing a skilled workforce becomes essential. Technical high schools can play a key role in preparing the next generation of technicians and specialists who will support these projects. By strengthening collaboration between schools, universities, industries, and national institutions, we can ensure that students are not only well educated, but also ready to contribute to Romania's nuclear future energy. Technicians and skilled trades are essential for the nuclear sector. In many cases, they are the professionals who ensure that system functions safely and efficiently every day. From the perspective of a technical high school, elevating vocational pathways requires 3 key actions. First, early exposure. Students should learn about careers in the nuclear energy sector starting from the secondary school. When students understand the real-world impact of these jobs, they begin to see them as meaningful and prestigious careers. Second, strong partnerships between schools and industry. Collaboration with companies such as Nuclear Electrica can provide internships, practical training, and visits to industrial facilities. These experiences allow students to connect theory with practice. Third, public recognition of technical professions. Society often highlights university careers, but skilled students and technicians are equally important. By promoting success stories of technicians and operators working in high technology sectors like nuclear energy, we can change perceptions. Technical education should be seen not as a second option, but as a direct pathway to high skill, high responsibility careers. If we want a strong nuclear future, we must start in the classroom today. The journey from classroom to command room begins with education. Thank you.
Wonderful, thank you. Thank you. So I saw a bunch of hands up here. So Michaela, do you want to start first and give us some perspective on what you're thinking? I saw your hand pop up twice. Then Tatiana, we're going to come to you after that. Okay. And then students, we're coming to questions for you. Okay.
Questioning attitude. That's one of the nuclear safety facts you're going to learn if you join the industry. So I'm going to challenge you on some things. So, and I'm going to, by the way, short person again. Mikhailo Vanes, I'm coming from Energy. It's an Atkins Realist company. It's the, and I am going to share the perspective of an employer. So a company that has just hired over 1,200 new grads, and believe me, they are creme de la creme, top students in all the possible discipline that we can put our hands on, okay? And what we're going to do with it? Are they ready to go on the job? They were hired. So new hire does not equal readiness. So they will go through a systematic time to competence to get ready for the jobs. So, and that's why I wanted to share, going back to your question, what do you like to see, as from an employer perspective? What would you like to see in the graduates to be more of, or to have more of, or be more aware of on the day one? So they will be getting readier faster, you know, to actually produce, contribute, and operate in what we call the nuclear way of working. So I'm gonna actually point only with 3 things. I mean, there are many aspects, but I'll start with the 3, what I consider to be the fundamental things, because I want to start with an important point. So graduates are capable. What they're missing is not intelligence, it's practical experience. Okay, so engineers of a graduate with insufficient practical experience, they have theoretical knowledge. You have your driver license, you know how to theoretically drive a car. You might be able to do some things, but are you an experienced driver? No, you're not. So it's the same thing with our time to competence, particularly in the nuclear industry, is long. And particularly for some roles, and I'm going to point to the regulatory body again, to the control room operator, 5 to 10 years to become what we call, sorry, I'm going to use my IEA, other hat that I have, SQEP. And that's one of the first things I learned and try to wrap my head around what exactly does it mean. Suitable, qualified, and experienced. This is what we consider to be a competent person working in the job that is required to do at the required standards and quality all the time as a consistent, producer. So it's not a question of, it's a question of putting the hard work in, because the industry will help you, they will train you, they will put you in the path, they will help you with all the support that you needed, but then again, you might fast probably, if you join the regulator or if you join the control room, pathway, maybe tougher exams that you had in university. So be prepared to that. So I'm going to start with actually what, from an employer perspective, again, what would you like to see more on that? Nuclear fundamentals, obviously, yes. Theoretical knowledge, because not everybody graduates from nuclear power engineering. So we like to see that, what we call 1 mile across 1 deep inch, what nuclear represents. From the lifetime facility, from the nuclear safety, nuclear safeguards, the 3 S's, the waste management, the planning, the operation perspective, the front fuel cycle, to have that overall orientation and what nuclear represents. And then it's the number 1, what I will put, nuclear way of working. Safety culture, quality culture, technical rigor. So those 3 are the 3 pillars of the excellence that you're going to operate it, and you will be asked to sustain and maintain. So by the way, congratulations are in order. Thank you, Pedro, for saying. Chernobyl Unit 2, world record, the top unit, operating unit in the world among 44 units, okay, with the lifetime capacity factor of over 92%, 92 point, how much it is, Mr. President. So if you put this in plain terms, think about what it means, lifetime capacity factor over 92. That means that for the last 29, anniversary, 30 years of operation, that plant was available over the last 30 years, more than 92% all the time. So how do you maintain this kind of a standard of excellence? Congratulations to SNN. Congratulations to SNN. And the second world record, Unit 1, Chernobyl, this week, 232 equivalent full power hour reached. It was on balsa before, with 302 before they brought for refurbishment. This week, another world record, that is the CANDU technology, Chernobyl Unit 1. And we're going to life extend to 245 and continue that, before the refurbishment. But going back, because I'm taking too long, going back to the employer perspective of what we like to see, more of the students. That nuclear war of life, they need to a nuclear grad should understand how to operate in the nuclear quality environment and regulated work practices. So we take our students from the day one, our co-op, our intern, whatever, and put them through, follow procedure-driven work without improvisation. We need creativity, you need innovation. But this is the most regulated industry there is. So they need to know how to follow procedures. They need to write and revise technical deliverables with traceability. State your assumptions, input, reference, verification steps, and so on. Learn the way that this industry works. Participate, we put our students to participate from day one in design reviews, in meeting reviews, to gain that question, attitude, to build, to grow up their safety culture. Second, practical applied experience, field literacy and constructability. They need to know to take the engineering drawings and put them in project mode into execution. So this should be able to translate that, should be able to know how to operate in a project environment that has milestones, that has deliverables, that has deadlines. So they need to be able to recognize what the BWS is, the breakdown work structure, to be comfortable working with estimators, with planners, with project managers, and so on. So what I'm saying is that they need to have that basic familiarity with work packages, planning assumptions, interface management. And the third one, digital fluency. Especially for the new generation. But the way we're doing this work now is we operate in the model digital delivery environments. Smart configuration management, traceability, structured data, understand cybersecurity, data protection, data protocols, use engineering tools, because we have, Power BI, reporting system, all those platforms. If they become a little bit more familiar from the day one to work with, that's on top of the foundational nuclear aspects. That's very, very useful for the people to come on and get site ready, project ready, faster integration into the workplace. So that's what I want to
Thank you. Round of applause. Wonderful. Well, and so you said something that resonated with me so much. She started talking about questioning attitude, and then she talked about safety culture, quality culture, technical rigor. You're going to continuously hear safety culture, quality culture, technical rigor in the nuclear industry. Why? Is it just about capacity factor? Capacity factor is super important. But is it just about capacity factor? No. It is about the collective responsibility that this industry has. It is about something that happens at a nuclear plant anywhere in the world impacts every nuclear plant in the world. And that collective responsibility is part of the reason that the nuclear industry is so special. The nuclear industry collaborates. The nuclear industry works together. And Tatiana, I'm going to go to you because your organization is one of several organizations that really helps make that happen. And why don't you give us some perspective? And then I really am going to ask you guys questions. I'm going to walk that way with the microphone. Heads up, I'm coming closer.
Thank you, Niva. It's my great pleasure to be here today. And before I answer to the question, just introduce my organization. The OECD Nuclear Energy Agency is an intergovernmental organization that work with 34 member countries with developed nuclear energy programs. And I'm really happy to say that Romania became member of the NEA in 2017. And since that, we have worked with Romanian experts in safety, science, law, radiological protection, and other fields. And through the course of these years, it's been obvious that Romania possesses an asset, and this asset is highly qualified people that work in different domains of the nuclear energy development. And what we have observed over the last 2 days during the workshops organized by EPRI, and also over the course of working with our members from Romania, is this country is very, very good to start as new SMR, for example, because the technology, like the technical rigor and the expertise is here. What country needs is really to scale up all the capacities. And for this, as we discussed yesterday, and it's obvious, what country needs is a clear strategy, on top of funding, of course, a clear strategy and planning, including planning on how to develop the workforce. And with the quality of experts that university deliver, again, what we need to just to scale up number of faculty members, number of students that graduate from universities. And here, I think there are different instruments, of course, national strategy, but also international work with through international organizations, including NEA, including IEA, to scale up these capacities. And here I would like to list some of the initiatives that NEA has, and where Romanian experts participate in those initiatives. And speaking about safety culture, as we discussed recently, we have a yearly workshop that we organize in different countries on safety cultures in different countries, and invite Romanian organizations to express need and just to participate, organize such a workshop there. Speaking about the workforce, we have several initiatives, including hands-on training, very important components that we have heard today. Hands-on training is very important. We have a program which is called NEA framework, NEST framework, Nuclear Education, Science and Technology framework, and I'm happy to say that Romania is one of the 15 member countries which participate in this framework. And we have the Minister of Energy represented in the management board of NEST, so we invite you to be just to send more students, more fellows to participate in hands-on trainings that we are organizing. Currently we have 6 projects on different domains, including SMR, including robotics, including very specific aspect of nuclear development. And also we have a global forum on nuclear education, science, technology and policy, and I'm happy to say that within this framework we are organizing national workshops to help countries to reinforce, to strengthen the higher nuclear education. One of the first workshops was organized in 2023 in Pitești with Professor Kilishan. I'm very happy to say that the result of the discussion we had in 2023 was recommendation was to establish a platform which is called today National University Alliance for Nuclear Energy. I really would like to congratulate Professor Kilishan for implementing this decision in such a short term, and I'm really happy to see that it's progressing very well. Speaking about for students, as it has been mentioned, maybe over the past several decades, the nuclear is very high on return at the top of the country's agendas. And Romania is one of those countries where nuclear is seen as one of the top priority for future developments. So you're lucky to live here. And if you're lucky to be here and just to study nuclear engineering, just to complement what the previous speakers have said, how to bridge the gap between academic education and going to the control room, to be practical, to implement your knowledge immediately. So I give you an example from my experience. When
Tatiana, 30 seconds. We have a good question over here. You keep going, then wrap it up because we have something.
My supervisor said, my first working day, so you studied nuclear science and engineering over 6 years. and now forget everything you studied. You start from scratch now. So, and you cannot be practical from day one. You cannot be practical from day 10. Just learn what you studied in university. You learned how to learn. And you will live like this life if you stay in the nuclear energy sector. It's very technology intense sector. You will learn every day, and hands-on training is one thing, but working on real projects.
Thank you, Tatiana. We appreciate you. Great job. Round of applause. We're just tight on time, and we're pressuring people to ask us questions. And so we have our first question, and this is for everyone at the table. This is for anybody who wants to answer the question. Here you go.
Hello, my name is Raluca. I have a big question. How do you think the AI is going to impact the nuclear field? Like, do you think it will steal our jobs or maybe make it easier for us or harder? Thank you.
Great question. Thank you. Okay, who's going up? Well, I think we have somebody at the table first, and then we'll go. Go ahead.
Yeah, sure. AI, is it going to change things? Is it going to take my job? Those are great questions, and they're questions on a lot of people's minds. From my perspective, AI will not take our jobs. It will change our jobs. So I have a large language model on my phone, on my computer, and my workflow is now different because I'll be brainstorming. I'll be thinking about Professor Kurlison asked me to help him come up with a title for a panel. I can't claim that, actually. I used AI. So it's not going to take our jobs. It's absolutely going to change our workflows. It's going to change the nuclear industry from the perspective of how we might sort of analyze things, how we might think. Any task that can be automated, let's get an agent working on that for us. So it will be different, for sure. But we'll still have our jobs. Absolutely.
Thank you. Other thoughts? Go ahead, Pedro.
Then again, I agree. It's not going to take a job, but are going to a lot enhance our job. Example, we just inaugurated last week our first immersion room. I'm online?
Yes, we are online.
Okay, so.
The one online needs to hear you.
Okay. So I'm going to focus on the positive, not on the negative on the eye, okay? So we have a mock-up control room that...
Go ahead.
So...
We have a mock-up control room.
We have a mock-up control room, and we just inaugurated next to the control room our first immersion room. So you go into immersion room, you can pull up any drawing, any system, and you just go there, and you can follow it up, you know, with all the equipments, and then you pin it up, and you put all the design requirements, and you put, and all the traceability of that. So you can learn, you can do walkthroughs, you can play videos, you can do simulations of all, I mean, you watch on simulators. So that's AI. That's our AI center. And by the way, they did it in 6 months.
Great. Great example. Other questions or AI thoughts?
May
down
I
here. Yeah, you go, Pedro.
Okay. Just some thoughts on AI. You remember at some point we had calculators that help us with the numbers. Now we have the large language models which are helping us with the words. Next step is the AI that will help us with the physical world, calculation of physical reactions, behaviors in 3D models. I think it's going to help us how to analyze, how to work more efficient, and how to reach to places that we didn't get there before so quickly and so fast. So it's going to help our rate of learning a lot. So those companies that are not hiring new or young people or are firing current staff because of AI, they will disappear in 10 years. That's my personal guess. AI will help to learn, to develop much faster. We will be doing calculations so fast that we never imagined we will be doing. Nuclear is so safety related and intense in terms of all the power that is behind that, I mean, you need to have a human behind the calculations. Okay, thank you.
Just a short comment. As professor, as your professor, you will be amazed to find out that I recommend you to use it. I'm not feeling myself cheated by you by preparing the dissertations and the presentations using any kind of AI. As far as you are able to understand and to integrate all the knowledge you select inside of your personal development. Thank you.
How do you solve the problem of the security risk about AI? Because you cannot give AI designs to a power plant, a nuclear power plant. And for example, how to deal with, say, for example, you have an employee and he does something based on an AI decision that got derailed.
No pressure. No pressure, but here, let me put a microphone in your face. No pressure.
So just, I can.
Well,
please, industry.
This is why we are very cautious in using AI. I was working previously in other industries, technical industries, FMCG, and my former colleagues there are very, very far away with using AI comparing with what we are doing in nuclear electrica. And the reason for this is just that safety is our priority. It's more important than anything else. It's more important than productivity. Okay, AI can help us do things easier, faster, but in nuclear, it's not about that. The most important thing is safety. This is why we are analyzing very, very cautious every step in implementing AI in our business. So we analyze the risks for each step, and we are not going ahead.
Great, wonderful, great question. And so I will say about AI, because systematic, thoughtful, slow to adopt, that's going to happen. What also is going to happen is you are going to enter the workforce, and you are going to have a skill set that we all probably don't have, which is that skill set. And you're going to bring a different way of thinking. You're going to find a different way to do things. You're going to challenge the industry and make it better. And so don't be scared of building that skill set because you think it's not relevant. It is absolutely relevant as we move forward. Okay, what other questions do we have outside of AI? Great one, thank you. Perfect, I'm coming.
Thank you very much. My name is Alexandru Chivu. I'm not actually a student. I'm a representative of the Energy Policy Group, a think tank based in Romania, and we are developing different analysis on the energy policy. And regarding the workforce, actually, my question is related to developing the workforce. So the representative of Nuclear Electrica said we should have started 7 years ago developing our workforce. So in your perspective, how well is the current educational system in Romania prepared to develop those future workforce, also nuclear engineering, but also looking at blue-collar workforce? And another question, we were talking about nuclear engineering working in different domains, research, supply chain, regulatory authorities. How in your perspective, do you attract those nuclear engineers, because it's a finite resource? Thank you.
Who wants to jump on that one? You stumped them. Go ahead. Oh, go ahead, Jerry.
So that everybody has time to think of the real answer, I'll say something. One of the values that keeps people working in the nuclear industry as long as me, and I don't want to tell you how many decades, but it's a lot, and you know, not far behind me is Professor Shirley-san. It's because there is, it's because there's purpose and meaning in the work. I mean, you can work on, if you want to go and work on video games, you could probably make more money developing a video game, but it doesn't mean as much as delivering clean, reliable electricity to everybody in the country. So there's the meaning and purpose of nuclear is one of the strengths that I hope the industry would promote and express, you know, to future students.
Just because Jerry provoked me, yes, I want to add something that is very important from my perspective as a nuclear reactors engineer in my basic preparation, was the feeling, the sense of being part of an elite of world science and technology. And I still consider myself of being part of this top level of scientists and engineers around the world. And you have to join this very strongly selected community of nuclear engineers and to realize that you will be part of this elite as well. Thank you very much.
Wonderful. Okay, so we have 11 minutes left. Am I lying? No, 9 minutes left. 10 minutes left, something like that. So we are going to go to the question I talked about, but part of being in the nuclear industry is following rules. And so we're going to test our folks here and see if they can follow the rules of one, maximum 2 sentences to answer the question. Yes? And all of you are going to answer, and then you guys are going to answer, and the final word is going to go to our student representative. Okay? So the question, we talked about it in the beginning, is if we're back here a year from now, and we're talking about something that came out of this conversation that became actionable, and it doesn't have to be complete, things take a long time, but it's active, it's ongoing, what is that thing that you want to see? We'll start right here with you.
Sorry, if I'm understood well, I have to put a question. I was a little bit dizzy in sorry, I'm sorry about that. Yes, I have some problem with my eyes. And so do I put a question?
No, just
or ask?
One thing, action out of here, what would that be?
Hands up. No. I'm not in my... Okay, sure. So for the next year, really speaking, now, speaking of Romanian Atomic Forum representative, there is not too much to improve from one year to the other year. So we are similar with the British company, British associations, French associations, or that is our role. In looking back to my, I'm not, I don't know if I'm allowed to speak on behalf of my lab, which is nuclear electrica. And but what I see that I'm looking for the next year to. There is regarding the human resources, there is an yearly improvement. So that has not to be that improvement to be dramatical, because it's not good. It's not to have a fall. It's not good. So, but in my opinion, the nuclear electrica has to maintain this rhythm to increase the how to say the knowledges and to improve from year to year, and they are doing that. The procedures, because the procedures has to be repaired, to be improved, because you know you have in Europe back a lot of experience. Some majority they are good experience. Sometimes it happens that it's a wrong experience. It's a 0.0 point. I don't know, some small. Yes, but I didn't breathe, so practically.
I got it. Okay, Pedro, show us how it's done.
Okay. One sentence and a half.
1.5.
I would encourage the national decision makers to have several meetings throughout the next year to address this issue and create a roadmap, a development plan.
More of these conversations and a roadmap.
The half sentence is there a national nuclear association?
Not how to follow directions.
Yeah. So this could be part of the conversation as well to further develop it.
I have to stand closer to you guys to put more pressure on you. Hold on. Okay, Heather.
Can I go? Okay. Hey,
I'll
Neva,
squeeze your shoulder if you're longer than
Right.
2 sentences.
I have 2 topics, though. So
No,
one,
fail already.
I know. But we just worked 2 days really hard on this roadmap. So a year from now, we've got a coordinating body to go along with the roadmap. Second topic to you, to y'all students in the room, as I speak Southern. I walked through EnergyFEST this morning. It was amazing. Wouldn't it be cool if you all were leading something as a part of EnergyFEST next year?
Students lead something in EnergyFEST. I like it. You got like from a 1 to 10, like a 6. Okay. You get a 10. Nope. Now it's 9. 8. National coordinating body. Got it. Got 3 of those. Go ahead. You want this? No, I can't give this up, apparently. Yeah, I can. You're okay.
I don't know. Okay. So one sentence. I think for the next year, the great thing will be those of you who will gonna graduate this summer to work one of the bodies, the institution that's presented here today, and also, as it was mentioned, to have a deeper collaboration between government and regulatory body and academia in order to tackle this very important issue of the nuclear sector.
Perfect.
Did I did okay?
You get a
Yeah.
8.5.
Yeah.
No, maybe 9. Maybe 9.
Well, my takeaway is that nuclear profession is a brand. It's an elite brand. And we, the professionals, should treat it like that and promote it to our younger colleagues because it's great. It's an elite, and come join us. This is my takeaway.
I like it. Great. I'm coming to you. It's going to take me a second to get there. We believe in you. You can do it.
Spoiler alert, I'm not going to wait 1 year to tell you. I'm going to tell you what strategically we are doing right now. So from an employer perspective, workforce development, make this a critical path delivery in your projects, especially major projects, billion-dollar projects. Workforce development in it with a plan, with actionable items.
Bravo. Workforce development as critical path. I like it. And managed like a project.
A year from now, the first group of students are entering a capability building program that includes post-degree tuition and experiential learning. There you go. Done.
Thank you. In 1 year from now, in the plan that will be created, I would like to see a role of international organization, how we can help to develop a workforce for the future, and including innovation, AI, and new technologies.
So success would mean several concrete achievements. First, stronger cooperation between nuclear companies and educational institutions, including more internships and practical training opportunities for students, and expanding dual educational programs.
1 year from now, I hope we will report improved capabilities of Romanian Regulatory Authority with the support of our current staff and probably new staff. And I hope that some of the students present here will join us in the future. Thank you.
Great. Okay. Florentina, final word before I wrap us up.
Okay, thank you. I'm really optimistic about the discussion we have had here. So the success will mean that we will have even a stronger connection with industry. Thank you.
Great, wonderful. Okay, so we heard a lot. We had a lot of great conversation. I'm going to sum it up, I think, in a couple bullet points, or at least try to. And we have this list of things, which I know Ashley wrote down word for word, and we have it on video, so that helps for sure. But so, you know, I think for Romania to continue to move forward at the pace you are and with the leadership position you're in, I think all of those things we heard are plan the workforce alongside the infrastructure, not after. And do that proactively. Do it as you are your nuclear fleet is a nuclear asset, and so is a national asset, and so is your workforce, and treat it as such. Connect the education to the operating realities and not just theories. So making things as practical as possible, as early as possible. And there was a lot of examples on how we do that across the board. And then this concept of, we heard it in different ways. Some of you called it in a coordinating body, but that concept of exactly what we're doing here. This is not one and done, but a continuing, creating a coordinating body to really come up with that action plan that ties in the global, it ties in the different aspects and the different stakeholders here in Romania. And the last one I'm going to say, just because I love it, is treat the nuclear profession as an elite brand, because it is. And you should be really proud of what you have here in Romania. And you guys should be really proud of what you've been studying and where you're going to go in this. And with that, I think we will wrap it up. Thank you all for being here. We very much appreciate it, students. We appreciate you guys being here. And maybe we'll see you next year when you're presenting at EnergyFEST. That's when we clap. Yay.